and gentlemen, as we move forward in our journey of bold reimagination, it is time to turn our focus to the trailblazers who are actively engineering the future of medicine. To lead our next session, titled A Woman of Substance, Breaking Barriers, Engineering the Future of Pharma, the Next Frontier, are in NDDS and Patient-Centric Formulations. It is my distinct honor to welcome an absolute pioneer to the stage, Dr. Satya Ramani Vadlamani, the Chairperson and Managing Director of Murli Krishna Pharma Private Limited, a seasoned pharmaceutical powerhouse with over 3 decades of extensive global experience. Namaste, ma'am.
Namaste.
Spanning research and development, international marketing, and regulatory compliance. Ma'am, I have so much to speak about you, so I shall take 2 minutes because you have done so much for us, for the world as it is. So I shall continue. An electrical and electronics engineer by training who also holds an MBA and a PhD in strategic management, Dr. Vadlamani famously transitioned from a corporate career to found Murli Krishna Pharma in 2004. Under her exceptional grit-driven leadership, she has transformed the company from a regulatory compliant intermediates facility into a globally recognized research-driven manufacturing engine. Today, she stands at the absolute vanguard of novel drug delivery systems, NDDS, and advanced patient-centric formulations, pioneering groundbreaking advancements from nanotechnology and liposomal encapsulation to advanced transdermal treatments and non-infringing finished dosages. Her work has successfully cleared rigorous audits from global giants like Pfizer and Sanofi, earning EU and WHO compliance across dozens of safe, sustainable molecules. Recognized internationally by the BBC, Times Magazine, and prominent business conclaves as an inspirational woman business reformer, she is a true embodiment of passion, ethical practices, and disruptive innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and give a phenomenal warm welcome to the Chairperson and Managing Director of Murli Krishna Pharma, the remarkable Dr. Satya Ramani Vadlamani.
Sound like some this thing.
I call it lady.
Thank you.
You are.
Thanks a lot, Leslie. That was wonderful on your part. Thank you very much, Dr. Satya Brahma, for inviting me. I don't know how to say this, but every year you call me, and I'm hoping that what I speak is going to make some sense to people, because I genuinely could not actually correlate with everything which Leslie spoke about me. But okay. First of all, a good afternoon to all of you out here. Thank you. And I would like to, I'm really, the kind of people who spoke before me are very brilliant and they know their subject better than I do. I'm actually an electrical and electronics engineer. So what I talk may or may not be all pharma. The pharma man is sitting in front of me, Dr. Vijay K. Shastri, who's the technical director of Murli Krishna Pharma. But let me try and give you a brief introduction about myself. It's an honor and a privilege to be present among such distinguished guests such as yourselves, and especially at this Pharma Leaders Forum. One thing I've always liked about the Pharma Leaders Forum is it is genuinely purely pharma related. It does not have anything in it other than pharma and pharma and pharma. So I really admire Dr. Satya Brahma for conducting this kind of a event on a year-on-year basis, and actually trying to bring to the forefront good innovative companies. So I'm not here to talk much about innovation today. I'm here to talk more about the compliance, more about accessibility of medicines, and more about providing a better grade or better quality medicine to the common person across the country and across the world. So while Dr. Venkat had spoken a lot about the innovation, I was talking to him right now, and I totally agree, innovation is the key to the world. we need to own the medicines. We cannot always only sell what is owned by somebody else. I totally agree with him on that. And as a company, we have always worked towards owning technologies and converting them into finished dosage forms, which increase compliance among patients, which increase accessibility to patients, and which should give a better treatment. I think at the end of the day, you take a tablet to get better. So if I can give something with less toxicity, less dosage, and a better grade product, I think I'm doing my job. At least we at Murli Krishna Pharma are doing our job. So I'm not here to talk only about the pharmaceuticals, the technologies and business, but more about the purpose. Because the future of pharma just does not depend only on the molecules what are generated by the companies. It also depends on, it's not the number of molecules. I don't have 100 molecules to boast about. But even if I have around 20 molecules, and out of that 20 or 30 molecules, 5 or 6 are the kind that can really benefit mankind, I think as a pharmaceutical company, Murli Krishna Pharma is doing its job. And I should also state something in this. None of the directors in Murli Krishna Pharma are the kind who have come in with golden spoons. We are people who have come in from a background of working in the industry, understanding the lacuna that exists in the industry, and trying to find a way to bridge the gap between what is existent and what we can provide. So that's exactly what Murli Krishna Pharma does. And the future of this kind of a medicine is purely and purely the onus lies on the novel drug delivery systems. Now, novel drug delivery systems is a word that is very loosely used by people for any and every product. But at Murli Krishna, we pride ourselves on one thing. When we talk about NDDS, we talk about encapsulation. As a company, we started with what is termed as a normal encapsulation, moved on to micro encapsulation, and today we specialize in nano encapsulation, liposomal encapsulation. We are trying to get closer and closer to that, what we call as the Shangri-La of medicine, where we can provide products that the body absorbs very easily. I'm not talking about biosimilars here. I'm not into the space of biosimilars, but I'm trying to provide formulations that can go through the barriers which are there in the skin, which are there in the human body, and deliver to the sites where they need to be delivered. And these formulations are generally, most of them, patient-centric formulations. Some examples we can always talk, like, okay, before I get to that, let me talk about the evolution of pharma. Where did pharma start from? For decades, it probably kind of concentrated on discovering new molecules, or put the new molecules into, put the old molecules into new bottles, as we say, old wine in new bottles. NDDS is more of old wine in new bottles, let me tell you. It is not, it's not what we call as path breaking, or it's not rocket science. We don't develop the chemical moiety. We develop the delivery system that goes with the chemical moiety, which allows the chemical moiety to be absorbed at the right place, at the right time, and give the right efficacy to the patient with the least toxicity and with the least problems with regards to compliance. So I think that is where we come from, and that's exactly where Murli Krishna Pharma tries to differentiate itself out from the other companies who are there in the marketplace today. Now, the transformative era which is there today is how best can you deliver a drug, what is your easiest mode of delivery of a drug, where do we deliver this drug, how do we release this drug, or when is the drug supposed to be released, and how comfortably a patient can use it. Now, regarding where it has to be released, what time it has to be released, is a depending thing, depending on the drug itself, depends on the pH where the drug is meant to be released, depends on the number of times the drug needs to be released. A simple example of an NDDS could be a product like for a heart patient who needs to take 5 or 6 different drugs in a day. If a combination drug could be provided in a sustained release format, which should release at different pH of the human body, so that at different points or time points the drug releases, the person need not remember to take all the 5 products. He'll be all right. He can take that 1 product or 2 products and still be fine. So this is where novel drug delivery system comes in. Again, we are not the pioneers in NDDS. There are big players. I think in India, the biggest and the best player in NDDS, first and foremost, the one that comes to my mind is Natco Pharmaceuticals from Hyderabad. They were the first to have developed what was termed as NDDS in India. AstraZeneca, yes. the innovator themselves. But I think in India, if I look at NDDS, it was started primarily by NATCO. And after that, a lot of companies got into the fray. So this is what we are doing, and this is where we come from. Now, what is breaking barriers all about? People talk about breaking the glass ceiling and climbing, and I don't think I've done all that. In fact, when Leslie says I've done too much, I really wonder what have I done. Because every morning I get up, I realize there are a lot more things I can do. I mean, I'm always reminded of one beautiful line by an English poet, Robert Frost, which says, "There are miles to go before I sleep. Woods are lovely, dark and deep, but there are miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep." So at 62 today, I still find that there are a lot more miles still left in me, and I'm sure the same can be said about Dr. Shastri, who is 67, and we are still working. And I don't think either of us have ever thought about what our retirement plans are going to look like. I don't think we have worked out a retirement plan as yet. So what makes women separate when we come to in any industry? Let's not talk about pharma alone. What is it that women bring on the table? People say that women work from the left side of the brain, men have the right side of the brain. But what I say is it's a combination of the two that creates any industry. It's not women alone, it's not men alone. And there was a beautiful example given to me. I don't know if I mentioned this in the past, but I had attended a STEM conference in UAE where there was a lovely example. There was a production engineer, a lady who had come in, and she was asked, she was heading the production department of a engineering firm, and she was asked what difference did she find between the men and the women. I mean, did she find the women engineer better or the male engineer better? She had a wonderful answer to it. She said, if a machine breaks down and I call both my woman engineer and my male engineer to me, and it's urgent that the machine restarts immediately, because if the machine doesn't restart, I'll have a loss of productivity. And she says, next morning the lady comes to me, she's not slept throughout the night, but she's come in with a solution which may take time, but which will ensure that the machine does not have a problem again, at least not in the near future. The man would have tied the strings together, started the machine out, knowing fully well maximum it will last for another 4 to 5 days, but the machine would have started. Now what does it state? As an entrepreneur or as an industrialist, I need both. I need the long-term solution, I need the immediate solution. So you need the men and the women to make something work in an industry. It's not the women alone, it's not the men alone. Now what do women do? And why is it that women need to prove themselves? I never had to do it, but I do hear a lot of times women say we need to prove ourselves a lot. The reason is that people expect a lot more from women. You have those ads which show a woman with 5 hands making a dosa with one hand, a medu vada with the other hand, and MTR advertises that. I think a lot of people would have seen that ad. So you're trying to say that a woman is a superhuman being. She's not. She's another person. But yes, she probably comes more stronger on the empathy, on the emotional quotient. So these are areas where a woman would probably be more of a, let me put it this way, she's a multitasker. She does a lot more things than the men do, and it's not that I'm degrading the men in any way. Please do not get me wrong. As I said, a man is as much important in anything as a woman is. But yes, a woman probably carries more empathy in her, and that's where people can relate easier to a woman compared to relating to a man. And what happens with a woman is we naturally understand patient realities. We understand that the child doesn't like a bitter medicine. We understand that the geriatric cannot take something which is so big that it doesn't go down their throat. Because we are dealing with those people on a day-to-day basis. As women, we generally have to have that empathy. We have families. All of us, while we do our jobs, we do our work, we also need to deal with the family at any given point of time. And I think that's where the empathy in women is a lot more. And they understand the patient's needs better. So today when I make a product, if I'm making it for a pediatric category patient, trust me, I'll make a similar one for the geriatric category also. Because the geriatric category is very much similar to that of the pediatric category. Maybe the dosage is higher in the geriatric and the dosage is lower in the pediatric. But the kind of a delivery system which I'll provide will remain common. I'll give you an example on this. We work on glaucoma. Now glaucoma basically is more of a geriatric related issue. Now what happens is the current drugs which are there, which treat glaucoma, are products like brinzolamide, dorzolamide and all, which are given. Now the problem with most of these products, nothing against them, but the trouble is that they cause a blurriness of the eyes that remains as far as 3 to 4 hours in the patient. Now imagine an old person who's already having problems in terms of their walking, in terms of their stability. You are asking this person, you're putting an eye drop into that person's eye, which is going to create a blurriness for around 3 to 4 hours. In the hospital, you force him to put it or force her to put it, or you put it in their eyes, they take it. After they go home, what happens? They don't take it. They don't put it because they are uncomfortable. Now why does this happen? This happens because of the lipophilic layer, because of the particle size of that product. And trust me, this product was not developed by me. I give full credit to Dr. Vijay Shastri for this, because he worked on the glaucoma based products of Murli Krishna Pharma. So what happens is that when you put a product which has a particle size which is big, the tear gland burst occurs. That's a human eye, the human brain and the human eye and all are made to protect anything from entering the cornea. So it tends, a tear gland burst occurs and the tears come down and the drug gets dropped off. So you're giving a larger quantum of drug to the patient and keeping him in a kind of a trouble spot till the time the drug enters the eyes. What did we do in such a case? I didn't do any rocket science technology. I don't think MKPPL did that. But what we did, we started bringing down the particle size. We changed the conventional process of making the product. We made a product that went up to 700 nanometers. But then as a group between me, Dr. Shastri, Dr. Krishna, everybody, we thought that let's not enter the nano space in this product. The reason being, then the amount of clinical studies required would increase. Now that's where I come in from when I say that it's not just about innovation, Dr. Venkat, it's also about having the funds to fund the innovation. As of now, whatever funding we have done on our own. But when it gets to the next range of funding, which includes what we call as the clinical trials, multi-layered, phase 3, phase 4, you need partners to be able to do that kind of work, which unfortunately we have never had those kind of partners who believed in R&D much. For them, R&D is a way in which you can get better investment into a company. Better investment in the sense that when they sell out their stake, they get somebody else who's willing to pay more money because there has been R&D pumped into the company. But what we did, we said fine, while we won't go to the nanometer, let's get down to less than 2 microns. As long as I'm in the micron space, as long as I'm following the Q1, Q2 formula of the innovator. But I'm giving a particle size which increases the time taken for the tear gland burst to occur. I am doing a lot of difference. And the brinzolamide developed by Murli Krishna Pharma, I can very proudly state that the blurriness is not beyond 10 to 15 minutes. Now, where are we when it comes to 6 hours, 7 hours versus what we are talking about? So that is exactly where MKPPL comes in, and that's what we do. So when you deal with older people, you understand what their problems are. Then we come to another area where we worked on, and that was technology when it came to iron. Iron is the biggest deficient product in the Indian people today. I won't just say Indian, I would say all over the world, because WHO has categorized iron deficiency as an endemic. Everybody hears about the word epidemic, but very few people are aware of the word called endemic, and endemic is basically an equivalent, and in fact, a bigger problem than are the epidemics. The reason is these are continuous, they don't stop. So you have more than 70% of the people in the African subcontinent, 70% of the women in the African subcontinent, 65 to 66% of Indian women and the subcontinent women, and around 55 to let's say around 50 to 55 in the rest of the world. These are women suffering from anemia. Now, why are they suffering from anemia? The entire world gives you free drugs, right? You get free drugs all over the world for this product. Still, why is anemia a major problem when it comes to people? The reason behind anemia being a major problem is compliance. Women do not like taking the iron supplements which are given orally to them. The reason being, they cause gastric irritation. First pass metabolism, the iron converts itself into a salt which is not digestible by the human body and causes either diarrhea or constipation and nausea. The metallic taste gives rise to nausea. Now, a pregnant woman is already going through her own complications. So would she really like to take these pills what you're offering her? She won't. And in countries like India and all, other than this, leaving the city population alone, how many women go for the regular checkups when they are pregnant? They don't go. And by the time they go, their hemoglobin levels have dropped to such a dismal level that then they have to be given an injectable form, either iron sucrose, iron dextrose, or probably a ferric carboxymaltose. These are the injections that are given. These injections come with their own price, not the money. I'm not talking about money here. I'm talking about the allergies that can come in, so you're given very small quantum so that you don't have the problem when it comes to taking that product. So these are what are called emergency solutions that are given. But despite all these solutions, statistics state that 50% of the pregnant women die during childbirth. And this is statistics of WHO. Again, not my statistics. I don't do statistics. But this is statistics of WHO. And isn't that a horrible thing when the world has evolved so much? When you've got cures for practically every disease, you're not able to find something which can help and prevent childbirth, deaths during childbirth. And children born to anemic mothers are bound to be anemic. So anemic children grow up to be anemic adults. So how can you stop this? Yes, we had a reduction after the Anemia Mukt Bharat scheme came into India. There was a reduction, but it's still very less. The distance to be traveled is a lot more. That's where we came in with a product that was a transdermal delivery of iron. It's the first in the world, patented by Murli, Krishna. We are planning to take it into US and all other countries as well. It is a product that's a combination of nanoparticles of iron, folate, D3 and B12, liposomally encapsulated, lyophilized, blended into a lotion base, applied on the skin once in a day post-bath. And the studies, whatever we have done, are showing that the incremental hemoglobin goes to around 1.5 units in a span of 1.5 months. That is, and again, this is not a lifetime, it's a prophylactic treatment, but not lifetime. We say take 6 to 50 mLs of it spread over a period of 4 months, and you will not turn anemic. At least you will reach the 12 or 13, whatever is average required. You will not turn anemic unless you come up with a major illness, sickness or an accident where your hemoglobin can go down. The reason behind it being that iron is the only product that actually has depots all over the body. So even if you are not anemic and you applied this, it will only go into the depot and get utilized by the body as and when it requires. So I'm talking about compliance, I'm talking about empathy, I'm talking about problems. So if as an industrialist or as somebody who's working both in the R&D segment and in the providing a solution, I think pharma as an industry needs to come up with solutions which are not generic. I mean, a paracetamol tablet given by any brand name is still only a paracetamol tablet. It doesn't change itself. It is a necessity. If I'm running a fever, or if my child is running a fever, I'll first give it paracetamol. I'll not look for the long-term kind of a solution. But some areas where we can avoid what are called as quick cures and try and come up with something which is more long drawn, I think we are all doing a good job of it. And that's where we come in. When science is combined with compassion, true innovation really begins at that point. And I think compassion is the need of the hour. And I think from compassion, a lot of innovation will always come up. Only thing is how best to fuel this innovation, how best to channelize and take this innovation to the rest of the world is a question mark where we are also working. My background has been in pharma and marketing all over the world. Our plant is European Union approved. It's approved by variety. Other than US FDA, we are approved by practically most of the MOHs across the world. We are supplying to different parts of the world, including Europe. We have done a lot of R&D projects for US. We have actually done R&D projects for US where we have earned money into the country getting that kind of money. So we are Make in India, Sell Abroad. Yes, we are a part of that bunch of people who manufacture for the world. But yes, we also have products where we own those products and we would like to take those products across to the world. Because we believe that we are not just trying to make money. Everybody is in the world to make money. There's no free lunch. And that's a quote which I always believe in. But at the same time, if you can give something back to the society, if you can do something which will help the people across the world, I think we have actually broken the glass ceiling with that. And again, it's not me alone there, it's a team out there, it's not me. I have probably been more of a spokesperson, but I think the people who have done the development, the people who have worked alongside. I mean, I still recollect my parents. My father was a professor of physics, but he came down to, after retirement, he was the man who stood in the R&D along with Dr. Vijay Shastri and worked alongside him. And he was the one who came up with algorithms and software which could actually, in those days, and I'm talking about 2005, 6 and 7, when that kind of software didn't exist, you didn't have an AI in the world. He created a software that could actually depict assay, RS and dissolution based on proper software programming. So he knew that if you are using this API, this batch, this one, he could exactly simulate and tell what would be the RS of that product. And that is RS, assay and dissolution, which is not very easy. That was because he came from a background of mathematics and physics and chemistry, so he was able to do it. But I'm only trying to tell something that a woman needs only a few things. She needs a strong family background which is going to help her grow and nurture herself as a person. As a nurturer, she is not just a mother, she is not just a daughter, she is not just a sister. She can also create and develop new things for the world, break the barriers. But she needs people to believe in her. She needs a family support to take care of her family when she is going out to do something. And I had that support from my own parents. I think they took care of everything for me all my life. And today I'm glad my younger son is back and has joined me in my work. And he could easily have said, as Mr. Venkat was saying, why did he even come back? I mean, he had better prospects abroad because he did his PhD from University of Cambridge in autoimmune modulators and in anti-cancer drugs. Why come back to India and why join me? But then again, I'm glad he did, because I'm a very staunch nationalist. I believe in my country, and I believe that if I can get what I have done as a Make in India product and have the world accept it, I think I've done my job. Then I can actually put my socks up, I can put up my shoes and say, okay, now I'm retiring. So thank you very much for giving me this time. And I'm sorry I didn't run any presentations for all of you. I tried to tell what I could tell, and thanks a lot, Dr. Satya. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
What an absolutely brilliant masterclass presentation, Dr. Vadlamani. Thank you for showing us exactly what it means to push the frontiers of NDDS and for proving that when exceptional engineering meets patient-centric vision, the future of healthcare is limitless. Ladies and gentlemen, another immense round of applause for Dr. Satya Ramani Vadlamani to formally acknowledge this outstanding contribution and to honor a true woman of substance. I now have the distinct privilege of calling back to the stage the architect of our vision. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Satya Brahma presenting a speaker memento to Dr. Vadlamani.
So this is why I always tell, she has always been a wonder woman. And I was speaking to Mr. Venkat, who's flown down from US for the Vyom Therapeutics. She's telling this is what happens in India. She has developed a fantastic product, but she's not able to commercialize it. I think Venkat is going to take it abroad for all what she has done. So this is a wonderful example how the ideas meet together and how the products travel across everything. So thank you, Venkat, for those kind words, and you're taking really Make in India products abroad actually. And it was a wonderful presentation, Satya, to have you with you. It's always a pleasure. It's a small token of our appreciation for your fantastic journey as a woman entrepreneur.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for being a patient audience.
And this would not have been possible without the support of Dr. Vijay Sastri, the Technical Director of Murli Krishna Pharma, who is right in front of us. But I will call him. I'll call him on the stage because साथ में फोटो लेने का बनता है यहाँ पे. Dr. Vijay, you are one of the greatest technical person I have ever seen. But one thing Dr. Satya did not reveal to you that actually they are going for an IPO, but I don't know when they are going. Am I right?
Not so soon. Long way ahead.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
I'll let you know before that.
I will get the news even if you